Motherhood is one of the most sacred assignments given by God. A mother is designed to nurture, protect, guide, and shape the destiny of her children. Throughout Scripture, we see beautiful examples of godly mothers, women of faith who raised prophets, kings, and world changers. But the Bible is also honest. It does not hide the darker side of human nature. It reveals that not every mother lived according to God's purpose. Some mothers, instead of building, destroyed. Instead of nurturing, they manipulated. Instead of protecting life, they endangered it. These stories are not recorded to condemn, but to teach, warn, and open our eyes to the consequences of living outside God's will. In this teaching, we will examine four of the most shocking and sobering examples of failed motherhood in Scripture. Number 1. Athaliah. Athaliah's story is one of power, cruelty, and a complete distortion of maternal responsibility. As a daughter of Jezebel, she inherited a legacy of idolatry and rebellion against God. But she did not stop there. She expanded it. After the death of her son, King Ahaziah, Athaliah seized a moment of political instability to establish herself as ruler over Judah. However, her path to the throne was marked by an act so brutal it defies comprehension. She murdered the royal seed, her own grandchildren. 2 Kings 11 verse 1. This was not just an act of political strategy, it was a collapse of natural affection. A grandmother driven by ambition became a destroyer of her own lineage. The instinct that should have driven her to protect and preserve life was overridden by a desire for control and power. Athaliah's reign lasted 6 years, during which she promoted idol worship and deepened the spiritual corruption of Judah. Yet even in her brutality, God preserved his covenant. A child named Joash was hidden in the temple by his aunt, escaping Athaliah's massacre. In time, he was revealed and crowned king, and Athaliah's reign came to a violent end. Her life teaches us that when ambition replaces love and power replaces purpose, motherhood can become destructive. It is a warning that no level of influence or authority can substitute for a heart aligned with God. A mother without godly values can do more harm than good, not just to her family, but to generations. Number 2, the harlot woman, the swap baby story. In 1 Kings 3, verse 16 to 28, we encounter one of the most famous judgments in the Bible, given by Solomon. 2 women, both described as harlots, lived together and gave birth around the same time. One night, tragedy struck. One of the babies died because his mother accidentally lay in him. Instead of accepting her loss, she chose deception. In the darkness of the night, she swapped her dead child with the living child of the other woman. This act reveals a deep level of selfishness and denial. Rather than facing reality, she chose to take what did not belong to her. When morning came, the true mother immediately recognized that the dead child was not hers. The dispute escalated and was brought before King Solomon. Solomon, guided by divine wisdom, proposed to divide the living child into 2. The real mother, driven by genuine love, cried out and offered to give up her child if only his life would be spared. The false mother, however, agreed to the division, revealing the emptiness of her claim. The story powerfully illustrates that true motherhood is defined by sacrifice, not possession. The harlot who swapped the baby represents a counterfeit motherhood, one that desires the title without the responsibility, the benefit without the sacrifice. Her actions remind us that love is proven not by what we claim, but by what we are willing to give up. Number 3, Maacah. Maacah held a position of great honor as queen mother in Judah, a role that carried influence both in the royal household and in the nation. However, she used that influence in the wrong direction. Instead of promoting the worship of the true God, she led the people into idolatry by making an image for Asherah, 1 Kings 15 verse 13. Her actions demonstrate how influence, when not guided by righteousness, can become dangerous. A mother is not just raising children, she is shaping beliefs, values, and spiritual direction. Maacah's leadership contributed to the moral and spiritual decline of the nation. What makes her story even more striking is the response of her son, King Asa. In a bold act of obedience, Asa removed his own mother from her position and destroyed her idol. This decision highlights a critical truth. Loyalty to God must come before loyalty to family. It also shows that a child is not doomed to repeat the mistakes of their parents. Makkah's life is a warning about the responsibility that comes with influence. A mother who leads her children away from God is not just affecting one generation, she is shaping the future. Yet her story also carries hope, showing that godliness can break cycles of ungodliness. Number 4, the cannibalistic mother. Perhaps the most disturbing account of motherhood in the Bible is found in 2 Kings 6 verse 24 to 30. During a severe famine caused by a siege on Samaria, conditions became so desperate that normal human instincts collapsed. Food was scarce and suffering was extreme. In this environment, 2 women made an agreement to eat their children in order to survive. One woman carried out the act. She boiled and ate her son. The next day, when it was the other woman's turn, she hid her child, leading to a dispute that was brought before the king. This story is shocking, painful, and deeply unsettling. Yet it serves as a powerful illustration of what happens when society reaches a point of total moral and spiritual breakdown. This was not just a personal failure. It was the result of national disobedience to God. The curses described in Deuteronomy 28 had become reality. The cannibalistic mother represents a state where desperation overrides love and survival instinct destroys natural affection. Her story reminds us that without God, humanity can descend to unimaginable depths. It emphasizes the importance of staying connected to God's provision, guidance, and protection. A mother designed to give life became an agent of death because of extreme circumstances. In conclusion, these 4 women, Athaliah, the harlot woman, Makkah, and the cannibalistic mother, represent different faces of failed motherhood. Athaliah shows us ambition without love. The harlot reveals selfishness without truth. Makkah demonstrates influence without godliness. The cannibalistic mother exposes desperation without hope. Together, their stories form a powerful warning. Motherhood without God can become destructive. But beyond the warning, there is also a call to rise, to do better, to align with God's design. God's intention for motherhood is not destruction, but life, not manipulation, but nurturing, not selfishness, but sacrifice. Every parent, every believer, and every future mother can learn from these examples. The goal is not to judge these women, but to avoid their mistakes and pursue a higher standard. When God is at the center, motherhood becomes a force that builds generations, shapes destinies, and glorifies Him.
Please like, subscribe, and share.